A tough one for the Knicks as they lose 97-87 to the Hornets on MLK Day at Madison Square Garden. But coming into this one, the Knicks were playing very good basketball. They are on a 3-game win streak. They are led by RJ Barrett. He has been playing terrific basketball, averaging just under 30 points in those last 3 games. But the Hornets were also playing very good basketball. They are winners of 4 of their last 5, so it was going to be a tall task for New York. No LaMelo Ball for the Hornets. That was a big loss for them, but guys did step up, and it was a blowout almost the entirety of the game. The Knicks went down early in this one. They trailed by 11 after the first quarter, and it was all Miles Bridges. He had 28 points at half. Julius Randle really struggled to guard him throughout this game. Bridges finished with 38 points. And at half, the Hornets were up by 18, and that's basically how the game played out. They held on to that for almost the entirety of this one until the final minutes in garbage time when the Knicks were able to get a couple points to make this a closer score than the game really was. A very tough one for the Knicks on the offensive end, 11 for 21 from the line. They also had 15 turnovers from the field. They were 32-80, but like I said, a lot of those baskets coming in the late minutes in garbage time. The Knicks did win the rebound battle, but they weren't able to take advantage of it. They got a lot of good offensive boards and defensive boards, but the turnovers and missing open shots really killed the Knicks today, and that's something Coach Tom Thibodeau talked about in the post-game press conference.
Well, I don't know if we struggled against the zone, is you got to make shots against the zone. And so, if the ball, hits the paint and you kick out and you got an open shot, if you're not making it, it's, we should have had an opportunity to get more offensive rebounds, and we didn't do that. The rebounding overall was good. Second half, the defense was good. But we can't hesitate when we're open. We got to let it go.
Now, there's a couple takeaways from this game that I really saw. I think the biggest one is that it's going to come down to the scoring with this Knicks team. When guys like Fournier aren't playing at their best or Burks aren't hitting shots, it puts a lot of pressure on Julius Randle and RJ Barrett to be the top scorers for this team, to have 25-plus points a game, to lead them to wins, and that's what we saw in the game against Atlanta Saturday night. That's what helped them win the game. But when other guys aren't hitting shots, it's a lot for those two guys to carry the load offensively. And it might be too much. We haven't seen these guys prove themselves that much on the offensive end outside of Randle, who was an all-star last year. But Barrett, very relatively new to that scoring, which he has done a very good job in the last 6 games, averaging over 20 points. But we still need to see the consistency from RJ Barrett down the stretch. And another takeaway that I have, play Obi Toppin. When he comes in the game, he's a difference maker, an electric player, dunking, plays good on both ends of the court. The fans want him to play more, but just over 15 minutes in the game today. Want to see more out of Obi Toppin, want to see him on the floor more. He could really be a difference maker for this Knicks team. But once again, the final from this one, they lose to the Hornets 97-87. They have a back-to-back, a game tomorrow coming up for the Knicks, so they look to get back on track again at the Garden and get a win. With WFUV Sports, I'm Michael Calamari.